So we see here that we've seen that the grapes that are used in Italian wines are not found in other regions. So you have to try these Italian wines to see which one you like the best first, right? Okay, so So on the label, place names are based on Italy's wine laws. Within these laws, there are three main categories, okay? The DOC is a protected place name, and DOCG is a guaranteed place name, and IGT is a typical place name, okay? So these all designate different kinds of laws that apply to them, and they also affect the quality of the wine. Okay, so to be eligible for a DOC designation, wines must pass a taste test and a chemical analysis. And DOCG has even stricter set of guidelines than a DOC. Okay, so the highest quality we would think would be a DOCG guaranteed place name. Okay, then the DOC and IGT wines must also meet geographic and grape varietals requirements, but the standards are less stringent for this designation. Okay, so the standards or laws are less stringent. We mean they're not as tough, right, or as exacting or hard. Okay, so it's easier to get an IGT rating. Okay, and one last label designation is, here's some more Italian I'm going to have trouble with, Vini di qualità prodotti in regione determinata, okay, and that is VQPRD, okay. So DOCG and to a lesser extent DOC is in most cases an indication of a superior wine. Okay, so you see these two designations on an Italian wine label and you know that it's probably going to be a good wine. Okay, there are, however, Italian winemakers who make very good wine but prefer not to have a government involvement in their businesses. Okay, so they get a choice and they choose instead to be labeled an IGT. So wine without one of these labels, these three labels, designation, is called a vino da tavola, or table wine. Okay, so sometimes the government gets too involved in the production of wine, and some of these guys that make the wine don't like to have all this government nosing around their wineries, okay? So they just label it a vino da tavola, or table wine, okay? So in most countries, when you just see table wine on the label, it means this wine is not very good. But in Italy, it can be very good because of this choice that some of these wineries make. So the only time you're going to know which one is a good wine or which one is a terrible wine is to taste it. So, and that's not so bad. Maybe sometimes we'll get some good ones or some bad ones, even though they're labeled both the same, table wines, right? So here is a couple of examples of our Italian wine labels, okay? So you see the name of the winery up here. In this one, over here, it's Ilio Grasso, and over here it's Banfi, and Banfi is a very famous place to get, or a company to get the Chianti Classico from. And we get the name, the Barolo, and Chianti Classico, right? And we see the classification. I don't know if you can see it down here, but this is a DOCG here, right here, And over here is another DOCG. Okay, and that means the highest classification of wines in Italy. And we have the town of origin down here. Let's see. Monteforte di Alba here. Monteforte di Alba is the place, the town of origin. And this one is Banfi and Montesino. Okay, good. So